Hey everybody, this is Hero back with another Dragonflight video. We're here on the beta checking out a couple of interesting interactions. Specifically, I'm looking at the way Arms Warrior and double on-use trinkets, the new trinkets that they're offering from the dungeons, might play a factor or a role in our gameplay. Now, what is the idea here? Usually, on-use trinkets don't work together because the one gets put on cooldown while the former is running. So if I press Algothar's puzzle box, I cannot then use fragment. This is a staple feature of the game for a long time. While that's true, as soon as this 20 seconds has expired from Algothar's puzzle box, fragment will be available to press, so I can do them back to back if I like. Now, generally speaking, we want to stack everything up. What makes this kind of interesting is we are looking at a way to make use of the giant mastery amp we get from Algothar's puzzle box and extend that into the window of fragment. And what do I mean by that? Well, our mastery, Deep Wounds, gives us both a dot and, more importantly, a damage amp on the target. So this target is taking 22% damage from all of my attacks. And I can keep this up by pressing Mortal Strike. The one weird thing about Arms Warrior is this snapshots. So if I press Algothar's puzzle box and get a giant boost in mastery, I'll just try to press it here, the game's a bit laggy, I now get a giant 48% bonus, and you can see the mastery buff ticking down up here, Algothar's puzzle box. If I press it right at the very end, before this goes off, I retain the 48% buff. As soon as I press another ability, it sets it back to whatever my mastery is. What that means is effectively, especially since given some of our talent options like bloodletting, which gives us a longer bleed, and pandemic, which means if you refresh any dot in the game below a certain amount, it gets added on top, we can get a 23-second long duration on Deep Wounds. So, in essence, right at the very end of Algothar's puzzle box, we can refresh our Deep Wounds using either Colossus Smash, Cleave, or Mortal Strike, and then we could press Fragment and have in this case, a 48% damage amp loaded up into our giant strength amp window. See how this works? So usually with two targets or two on-use trinkets, we can't line them up, but because of the way Arms Warrior works with their mastery, we can essentially snapshot the debuff on the target and then add on extra stuff. Now, one of the takeaways about this is that we cannot use any ability that will proc Deep Wounds on the target, or that target will automatically be out of range, meaning it will drop our Deep Wounds back down to the normal value. However, we do have some other abilities we can use other than Mortal Strike, including Overpower and Slam. And if we have it, we can do Cleave, and we can do Fervor of Battle over here to use Whirlwinds and Slams at the same time. And because we do have some Slam scaling, it's not quite as strong as what we have in Shadowlands, where I think it's a native 150% buff to the damage of Slam that's just under the hood as you're leveling. We get Crushing Force, and we also get Barbaric Training that is giving us some damage amp to Slam. All this means is we can get some really crazy numbers. So if you put these things together, and the damage overall is low because I was on the dummy for a while trying to sort out how to do the order of this. But essentially, you can open on the target, and in Execute, it'll work to do Colossus Smash, and then cool down your Colossus Smash through anger management really, really fast, so that by the time you get to the end of your puzzle box window, you will be able to Colossus Smash one more time in order to give you that big window. So you'll get both the Colossus Smash debuff 30% damage, and you'll get the 48% damage amp that is then snapshot for the rest of that window. But in normal openers, you'd have to do either Colossus Smash and then you miss the 30% bonus of Colossus Smash during the other trinket, or which I think is probably a little bit better, or you just open and you hold your Colossus Smash until you get into the back portion and you blow all your CDs. So this was me kind of fiddling around with testing it, but the result is you can get some pretty large numbers on Slam, on Overpower, on Rend, even on Thunderous Roar and itself. The big takeaway for me is the value of Execute. Obviously, at the beginning of a fight, this is going to be a mediocre strategy in general, but as you move into Execute with some Execute profiles, you're looking at some potentially really, really strong effects. So having Juggernaut stacked up and then doing this double on use strategy means you're going to have very, very large amps for your Execute damage. So I thought, I don't know how practical this is exactly, but it is the example of a unique effect that's worth at least foregrounding for you if you're thinking about the game coming up. This is the first time I've been able to test these trinkets, and this was the one interaction of all the trinkets that struck me as being kind of unique from an Arms Warrior perspective, and I thought I would share it with you guys. So let me know what you think in the comments, and we will catch you again next time. Thanks, and see ya.